Lee, I'm going to transport you into another world. In fact, this year I'm celebrating with my Aunt Mavis 10 years since we launched her sewing ebook onto the world, got known in the United States of America, in Canada, in our own hometown here in Mudgee, Australia. We're going to explain how we did it, how it's relevant to you in your personal or business life, or the two put together. I want you, before we get started, take a look at this. Happy birthday, Mavis. I'm going to show you. These are people that Mavis did not know from all over the world that wished her a happy 90th birthday. And she was presented with this on her 90th birthday in front of friends and family. And these emails are just a portion of about 150 to 200 emails that she received, and people wishing her well because they bought her sewing ebook or they just fans of hers. Now, whether you're in business or in home life, you want to be the center of attention at certain points in your life. I'll recall a story. I went to a wedding. I used to be a disc jockey for weddings. And the bride said to me, "I don't want to be the center of attention, except sometimes you have to be the center of attention." And I'm going to introduce you, first of all. Here's my Aunt Mavis, and she was the center of attention for a long, long time. How are you doing, Mavis?
Very well, thank you.
Now, we've got a lot of material here to cover today, so I'm just going to take our time about how we go about doing it, because you've got 100 years of lifetime experience. We're going to transport the people that are watching this into your world. Is that okay?
Thank you, yes.
Because yesterday, you remember we talked about your childhood growing up,
yes,
about going and courting and meeting your husband, and how it happened with your children and how things have changed.
Yes.
Now, the reason I want to do this is because quite often I am training or teaching people about developing their business.
Yes.
And they say, just like the bride, I don't want to be the center of attention. But if you want to be the center of attention, sometimes you have to step out of your own comfort zone. And one thing I've noticed, Mavis, you never seem to get out of your comfort zone. We did things like videos for your website together, you and me. You'd never done it before?
No.
Never. You were doing teleseminars, correct? To people all over the world.
That's
and we
right,
were
that was by phone.
Yeah, that was by phone. Have you got a computer?
No.
Would you know how to use one?
No.
No. And yet we still managed.
Yeah,
Between the two of us, we were able to get you out to the world. We're going to show people what we mean. I'm also going to be assisted here by Valerie. Hi, Valerie. This is Mavis's daughter.
Yes, how are you, David?
And you remember we were here 10 years ago, we were filming, and I got you into one of the videos too, and we're talking about the dressmaking.
Yes.
And it was all exciting. How was it at the 90th birthday when they saw this birthday card and they knew Mavis was famous in her own world, in the newspapers, over in magazines on the other side of the world? How did that go down with the family?
I think they were quite amazed because I think they just felt that most 90-year-olds don't tackle technology too well. Often the microwaves even beyond them without anything else. So, no, I think we're all very proud of her and think she's just amazing with the things that she takes on board.
What I want to do is more than inspire people. I want to show them whatever they're doing in their life. If Mavis can do this, I always say, if my 90-year-old Aunt Mavis can do this, what's your excuse? What is it, Mavis? Tell me, what possible excuse can they have? You know nothing about computers.
No.
All you had was a telephone.
That's right.
You had your lifetime knowledge, experience,
Yes.
and in this case, in sewing, and it was incredible. Let's just I got my wife here, Sabera.
Hi, hello.
Sabera, you've seen all this as well.
Yes.
The people are going to learn a lot from just what we're going to be talking about.
Yes. Mavis is so alert and brilliant and clever. Today, when I saw her, she's just still the same as 10 years ago, and now 100 years. So amazing.
So we took a photo yesterday. We were being a bit silly, but it was just to say we were having a bit of fun.
That's right.
Because tell us what's your philosophy, Mavis, about life, living, taking on challenges, going into the unknown. You've done so many things in your life.
Well, I've tried, if I wanted to do something, I did make an effort to do what I wanted to do, and mostly I was successful at what I wanted to do in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I didn't let things stop me if I thought it was at all possible to do it.
And so we had quite a bit of fun putting the website together, doing the teleseminars.
Yeah.
I'll just show the people who've not been to it. If they want to go, here's the website itself. It's i-sewing.com. i-sewing.com. Let's play it if we've got any signal here at all. Otherwise, go there and play it yourself. No, there's no signal. Go and play it yourself, isewing.com, and go and have a look over the page. Next, we're going to have a look, before we go into your life story, Mavis, let's have a look. Oops, that's okay. Let's have a look at what we've got here. A talented woman and still baking. You're a woman of many talents. You come from a different age where you learnt sewing from a very young age, correct?
Yes, I did.
And a lot of life skills that quite often are bypassed in today's world.
Yeah.
Here you are in the local newspaper, July 1st, 2016. Mavis celebrates 100 busy and happy years, and I think that's very close to the truth.
Yeah.
You had a happy childhood. I think you had a pretty good marriage, am I correct?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you're celebrating here with your family. There's Valerie, there's Alan and Max in the newspapers. Here's a few of the photos. Let's take a look. You've got even a card here from the Queen from last year
Yes.
for your 100th birthday, and one here from the Prime Minister. And if we go over here, there's a birth certificate to prove the fact, born on the 21st of June, 1916.
That's right.
So, I'm going to sit down next to you, Mavis.
Right.
Okay. I have many challenges when I've got clients or people that I'm speaking to that want to change what they're doing in their business life, and yet with you we didn't have any of those obstacles. They're afraid to be seen, to be heard, to have a voice, but yet they want change in their life.
Yes.
And yet you have had to go through many changes. You went through the World War, you're bringing up family. In your lifetime, Mavis, you have seen so much change, technological change, the way people move about the world, how they do business, how they live their life. When I'm here in Mudgee, it's just like being taken back to an old time and an old place.
Yes.
What I would like to transmit to the people here is when I am developing either my businesses or their businesses, I am an observer. And I love meeting people like you, of your generation. I loved going to other countries and seeing how other people live their life, because that is what they know, that is what they experience.
That's right.
And yet for me, I am an observer.
Yes.
Now, if you are trying to change your life in terms of develop a business, develop your career, or do something that transports you from that little person like Mavis out in the middle of nowhere in Mudgee, New South Wales. You've never left the country,
No.
and yet you are known all over the world. Is that what you're wanting in your life, in your business? So listen in. We just took your product, which was your knowledge, from here, with the assistance of others who you know who you are, that gave us support to be able to create the book,
That's right.
go and develop it. Now, what I didn't know at the time in about 2006 was how to do this, what was the right steps. But I understood at that time that being able to communicate like one-on-one, we are talking to you on the other side of the lens,
That's right.
was the most important thing.
Yes.
Communication in your day, Mavis,
That's right.
was growing up family around you, going out to the local dance and going and meeting everybody. If somebody was not here, you'd have to write letters.
Yes.
So communication was essential. Let's go back into your world, Mavis. Growing up, what was it? How did people get to know each other? How did they develop relationships and eventually get married? You told me yesterday.
Yes.
How was it with you and George?
Well, first of all, we used to have local picnics and things like that, and then local dances, and where people met and from all ages, and our parents, we were only young, our parents took us like the other parents around. We were supervised, and gradually, you know, we grew up, and as the older children matured, they danced with us, and then of course the time came where we were young adults, and we joined in with the regular group of people that came around that we danced with us, and we had lovely, enjoyable times. And the picnics where we had for New Year and things like that were simple, but they were enjoyable because people took a picnic basket and had it on the riverside, and then at night, if there was a dance on at a local hall or a wool shed, we went to the dance, and that was another enjoyable, happy night.
Now, Mavis, I want you to tell us the time you met George. Can you remember?
Yes, I can remember.
Can you go into how you saw him, how he captured your attention, or you captured his attention?
Well,
Can you just, I don't know if you've forgotten it or not, or maybe it's still back there somewhere. Could you recall that meeting?
I can remember the first time I met him was at a friend's place. That was the beginning. And then I went to a picnic where all the locals were there, and he came to talk to me, and I thought that was nice, and anyway, that was that. And then later on, these same friends that lived close by took me to a woolshed dance, and George was there, and he came and danced with me all night.
How was that?
I didn't even know he was going to be there, so that was very nice. And from then on, I think he came to other things around, and finally, you know, became interested in me and asked my father and mother, could he come and see me?
He asked your father and mother?
Yes.
And
could
he had to get permission?
Yes.
Yeah.
To come, well, I was only young. And from then on, that went on for 3 years before we were married.
Oh, my God. And you had, how was married life for you, Matt?
Oh, really good, yes. All the ups and downs bringing up children, but I mean, I had a happy life.
Yeah.
And we went dancing for a long time, but we did leave off while the children were small, except on a few occasions. But after that, then we danced, for, all told, from before we were married till we stopped dancing. We were dancing for 50 years.
Let's stop there. You've just told a story
Yeah.
that probably many people could relate. I'm getting you to go back into your own life, into your own experience. Have we rehearsed this today? No, not at all.
No.
You were telling a story that's relevant to you. I don't know what it's like in your life, but we are trying to connect to other people, people to people. The reason why I'm doing this is to give you some ideas, some hints of perhaps why things aren't working for you. It's essential, Mavis, if people that are watching this, they're trying to be successful in their business, whatever they're trying to accomplish. They could be doing something for charity. I say, let people into your life. Give them a glimpse. I didn't know this. This was my gut feeling at the time when we do this.
Yeah.
Subsequent to us developing the website, I had mentors, and they confirmed this. And through my own experience, I've seen the difference it's made.
Yeah.
I developed property systems based on the marketing of which was based on what we did together, you and me, because we developed a box system so that property investors in the United Kingdom could go out and buy and sell property for the mere deposit of £1. And now
Really?
the concept was alien to people. They thought it could not be done. But I had to connect with people. Now, whatever it is in your business, you could own a flower shop. You could be somebody that's independent. You've got a skill. You've got a talent. You're trying to reach an audience. I say to people to get control of your life. Don't be dependent on others.
No.
So to be able to let you be in charge of your own destiny. So what we were doing was getting as many of the sewing community around the world to come into your world, and we were sharing part of your life. You recall this?
Yeah.
In fact, when they go and subscribe or buy your book, they're getting so many bonuses from the teleseminars, from your life experience, to be able to see this is what we did. And I did this subsequently in property, so I'd have to share part of my life.
Yes.
Now, can you imagine? I'll ask Valerie. Valerie, you're more technologically minded.
Right.
If I was to type the word sewing book into Google, what would I expect to come up?
I think you'd have a lot of sites that would come up, but the sewing.com with Mavis would certainly appear.
It appeared because she was one of the few sites that showed herself, that introduced herself, like I showed at the beginning. And they didn't actually buy Mavis's ebook. Who did they actually buy?
They bought Mavis.
They bought Mavis.
Because she's a real person. It's not just a technical journal. It's a life story.
It's a life story that they're getting a glimpse of. Do they know the ins and outs of Mavis's life? No. They just know a few glimpses of the experiences she's lived, how, therefore, sewing became relevant to her, how it's a part of their life. I developed the property systems in the same way because that was part of my life. I didn't have to rehearse my own life experience. No. And this is how we do this. No matter what your talent is, you should be able to communicate what it is you do at the same level.
Yeah.
So we don't have any cheat sheets in front of us here.
No.
We are not prompted by anything except what's coming out of our mouth.
No.
And I say to people, don't let your ego get in the way. Don't let yourself get in the way of your own success. Don't tell yourself why you can't do things in life, because we script ourselves as to why we can't. Mavis, you've lived a long and healthy and active and happy life. You're 100 years old and still going, not out. If you were talking to this person directly now, because you are looking in the camera, I know your eyesight's not as good, and they've got challenges in their life, where they want to go to next. Have you got any words that you could say to them about how they should approach life at their age, which is going to be much younger than yourself, based on your actual life experience? What would you say to them?
Well, that's fairly difficult. It depends where you want me to start.
Well, you've had challenges.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has challenges.
Many challenges.
Family,
yes.
health, financial. Have you had all of those?
No, I haven't had really financial.
Oh, that's good. A lot of the people out there have got financial challenges.
Well, I suppose you could say we grew up in the Depression.
Well, that was a challenge.
That was a challenge, but I mean, when we got married, we were just coming out of the Depression, and we survived like a lot of others did without too much effort.
So what is inside of Mavis Cox, the person that made her get up and go and tackle the next challenge?
Oh, yes.
What is it about you?
Oh, determination and stubbornness, I suppose.
You have to have that.
Yes.
You have to have a determination, a stubbornness. You started doing doll making at the age of 60, am I correct?
69.
69.
Yes.
So age never got in the way?
No, not really.
You weren't too young, you weren't too old,
No.
You weren't too beautiful, too ugly or anything. You weren't of a certain persuasion, you weren't of a certain race or character or creed or anything. That didn't get in the way.
No, and I saw it advertised in the paper that they were going to have these lessons.
Yeah.
Nobody talked me into it.
Yeah.
I started off from there.
Okay. So people that I've met that are successful have that characteristic. They will just go and do it.
That's
and
right.
They don't worry about, well, what if it doesn't happen or I fail? You've got a saying, if it doesn't succeed, what would you be saying?
Well, I'd say if it doesn't work for me, well, it's only me that's been the trouble.
Oh, my God.
Don't you reckon?
This is what I say to many people. You can walk around in life and you will not succeed for various reasons. And other people will succeed.
Yes.
But the one thing that's in common with the failures is what's up here.
Yes.
what we tell ourselves,
Determination.
the people that we associate with.
Hmm.
I trained a lot of people over the last few years, and their mindset, their self-belief dictated that it's not going to happen for them.
Really?
They couldn't, really. I got to the stage that I actually developed a lot of what we did on the sewing website.
Yes.
On my website, I developed the whole package so it was just done for them.
Yes.
So if they've got a business that they want to launch, it's already prepared.
Good.
All we do is like I did with you, Mavis.
Yeah.
I just got a bit of your life story. I got to understand the business of sewing. I don't know anything about sewing.
No.
I go into their business. I ask a few questions. And because I'm an outsider, I'm impartial. You see,
Yeah.
it's difficult for you to talk about your life with the same objectivity as somebody looking in from the outside.
Yeah, that's right.
And seeing things that you can't see.
Yeah.
The same as I can't see things in my life because I'm too close.
That's right, yes.
So I'm now literally able to help develop people and their business in a matter of weeks to get the correct message, to identify with their audience, because I'm looking at your characteristics the same as I'm looking at their characteristics,
Yes.
and how to do it best. The thing that happened in your life, and that does not happen in your life, is that you grew up in a time where you mentioned that communication, talking to people, telling life stories, living an experience. If somebody was not there present at the time, they were overseas or far away, how would you communicate with them?
Well, you had to write a letter to them.
You had to handwrite a letter?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
how many people handwrite a letter these days?
Nobody.
Nobody. These are skills that have been lost.
Oh, yes.
The art of communicating effectively, about arousing emotion, about being able to recall events from a time. We're talking about 70 years ago when we're talking about you meeting
Yeah.
George.
Well, 82 years I've been in Mudgee.
Yeah.
In 1935 I came here.
And yet you're recalling that as if it was yesterday.
Well, most of it I can remember.
So let's go and take a look over what we've got here. You've got your, you do cooking, how to cook. There's your 90th birthday party.
Yes.
There's
I
Mavis.
don't do much cooking now because I can't see, but through the years I did reasonable amount.
There's your 100th. Now, Valerie, I'm putting you on the spot.
Again.
If Mavis had been, say, 60 years of age, 65 years of age, I could have got her on national TV. I could have got her on a time slot because she was interesting. She was newsworthy, and it was making Mavis newsworthy to the world, which was what we were looking to do. And yet most people live in oblivion. And yet, how would it have been to have your mother like that? Because I've got no doubt that's what we could have done. If we got Mavis into the magazine in North America with 500,000 circulation, if we got her into the Mudgee newspaper 10 years ago, she's here again. What could we have done with this woman, say, 40 years ago? We could have turned her into a celebrity because people love the stories, the storytelling, the newsworthiness of a lifestyle that they've lost in their life and they want to recapture it again. Can you see what could have been if we had the technology?
Absolutely. And I think the wonderful thing is she just considers she's an ordinary person, very unassuming, doesn't look for self-praise as far as what she can do. I think she's just gathered this confidence and accumulation of skills over the years and just taken it as the norm.
That is... You want to get more sales, you want to communicate with more people, you want to be effective, exactly what you just said, Valerie. You just have to be yourself. You don't have to be an actor, you don't have to be scripted. You just be yourself and people can connect with you. In fact, the less sophisticated and slick that you are, the more sales you will do. I hope these few things that I'm passing on to the people, and they can see it through the life of Mavis, is why she was so effective and perhaps why you're lacking the skills that you need. You really got to go back to another generation, another time that you may not even know, because everything now is tick the box, fill in the answer. You are just programmed in the way that you speak, you think, you react, and you have to be able to break that, Mavis. You need to be able to get quickly a rapport with the person, be authentic. It's like I tell people, go through a cycle. You go through the rapport building. So when we did the website, immediately in 60 seconds, we disarmed them. We won them over. As they scrolled down, they're looking at you two talking about address. That is called the rapport. Now, they want to go and they've got a problem. They want to be able to sew as well, don't they? Yes. They want to be able to, what do they want to do? Sew? Or do they want to create lovely dresses? They want to be able to have somebody praise them for how they look, how they've done something to present themselves. You told me that you won many awards going out with the dresses that you had designed, and you were
matron of the ball.
Matron of the ball. How did you feel about being the matron of the ball?
It was very nice.
You remember that more than anything else?
Well, I remember especially it was nice.
Yeah, and that's what people love. They want to be able to get recognition. They want to be noticed. Because yes, you do want to be noticed. Why do you think you go to the hairdresser? To have lovely hair, or to people to comment about how lovely you look?
Well, you feel good in yourself, but you also think, well, I'm very presentable if I keep my hair nice.
I hope you're learning something here. Sorry, this is all. It's how you feel.
Yes.
So that's why the words are key. Valerie, the words that I say. So we are disturbing them in a way. And therefore, if they've now got a problem, guess what they want? They want a solution to their problem. Mavis, you were the solution.
You reckon?
Yes. They wanted somebody that they could relate to, provide the solution, give them introductory lessons on video in the book, through the material we put together. We did audios as well, like the teleseminars. Yeah. So we're giving them a solution as well. So we weren't actually selling them anything, even though we were going through the sale. Yeah. And the natural process after that was we've provided the solution. It wasn't an expensive book, was it?
No.
$20 US. Imagine if you're in the Philippines and you're selling $20 an ebook at a time. You could do it in any country. And I know $20 goes a long way in places like that. So you're providing the solution, and therefore, naturally, you go to the close, you go to the sale, and it's all said and done, and it's painless. But what we did, we set it up the one time. We did the work up front, and Mavis, I didn't do much work on the site after that. We did a few hundred sales on the book.
Yes.
I've just launched it again after it was down a few years, but I've just put it back up again. I may use this and add to the site. Yes. So this is the 100 years of the life of Mavis Cox, my aunt who lives in Mudgee, and you have a beautiful town here. There's wineries. You give us tell us what people can find in Mudgee, because we went and took some photos today. Why should they come to Mudgee?
The attraction is, of course, the wineries. The Tourist Association has launched for many years the Wine Festival, which lasts over a period of about 2 or 3 weekends, and draws a lot of people. It's quite challenging for people to get accommodation. A lot of the wineries are quite well known. There's smaller boutique wineries, and there's usually other celebration at the same time. But there's something going on around Mudgee a lot of the time. The scenery, and there's often local tours that take people.
And the architecture here is just like in its original state from the 1800s.
Look, there has been a move to keep the restoration and the buildings up to speed, and there's certainly, once you look at them, if you go back to old photos and then see that many of them are still much the same. I suppose they've had a few coats of paint in the meantime, but the architecture is really quite quite special.
Yes.
And I guess if you live in the town and you're here all the time, sometimes you don't see it through the same eyes until you start poring through photographs and even talking to people about it. But there is quite a good transport system. Planes will come in on a daily basis. So people certainly have good access, and we're only a few hours from Sydney. So
Okay. Come on, we'll all get together. We're going to say goodbye to everybody. I'll have to get here, so Barry, you get behind. So thanks very much for joining us. It's been 30 minutes taking you into the world of Mavis Cox and her family, and hopefully giving you a few tips and ideas of how you can be marketing your business the same way as you marketed your i-sewing.com website, how we did it all those years ago. And go and visit, put your name and email address in there, see some of the videos Mavis did or the audios, and go and take a look for yourself. This is David Lee, this is
Mavis
Cox,
Valerie.
And severely here.
Have a good day. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.